news. There will be young children in the White House for the first time since the Kennedy generation.
Barack Obama, in our view, President-elect of the United States of America.
Barack Obama is projected to be the next president of the United States of America.
Barack Obama, 47 years old, will become the president-elect of the United States.
This is a profoundly important passage out of the deep shadows of our racist past that began with that first slave offloaded on a ship.
But whenever a kid said, I want to be president, I literally saw black parents say, son or daughter, you may think it needs something else. I have 9 nieces and 4 nephews. And when I talk to them, I can actually say that and mean it. Bingo. That's it.
There will be setbacks and false starts. There are many who won't agree with every decision or policy I make as president. And we know the government can't solve every problem. But I will always be honest with you about the challenges we face. I will listen to you, especially when we disagree. Out of many, we are one. That while we breathe, we hope. And where we are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.
Yes. And we are back deep in the second hour. It's almost time to go home, folks. 7:40 p.m. Yes, 7:40 p.m. That means in about 20 minutes, Dr. Marion Williams is going to come in with the 2x4, kick me out personally, start regulating. But as you heard there, that was a compilation of election day coverage from 2008. Why? Because it has been 15 years exactly since the election of Barack Hussein Obama, who was our 44th president, becoming the first black president with Joe Biden, our current president, as his vice president. It's hard to believe it's been 15 years already. It really is hard to believe. I remember during the 2008 campaign that was the first time I'd ever seen political division in the black community, ever. And that's what I will always remember about the rise of Obama, the splintering, the starting of the sort of schisms that we have now politically between the left and the establishment, the sort of liberal corporate wing of the Democratic Party. Barack Obama at one point was the darling of the left. He was the left-wing candidate of the Democratic Party. He was the anti-war candidate. He ran against the Iraq War, which is about as, popular as, diarrhea or something. He was not very, at this point, George W. Bush was extremely unpopular. The Republican Party as a whole was unpopular. He was only the third sitting U.S. senator to be elected president, joining Warren G. Harding and John F. Kennedy. And so his election was record-breaking in a lot of ways. He won a pretty sizable, decisive victory over John McCain. A lot of people tend to forget that. It wasn't really close. He got 365 electoral votes out of 538. He won states that had not voted for Democratic presidential candidates since 1976, in North Carolina, and 1964, Virginia, Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District, and the land of the Indians, Indiana. Yes, our home state, my home state. I remember election night to this day. The controversy over what happened with Rudy Clay. It's not for me to say what happened. I don't know. All I know is that when those votes from Lake County came in, that's what put him over the top. We here in Lake County actually put Obama over the top. By election day, I had already sort of soured on Barack Obama because of the whole Reverend Wright situation. You know, I was a supporter of Reverend Wright. I thought Reverend Wright was right about everything he said about America, about society, and ultimately about Hillary Clinton and just sort of his worldview in general, the civil rights, the traditional civil rights perspective, which is what Reverend Wright had. And Barack Obama was sort of a new mentality of, we are Americans, we believe in institutions. And so Barack Obama actually changed black politics in a lot of ways. He changed black politics. He changed what woke means, basically. When I was growing up, woke was what we called Farrakhan. Woke is what would be Malcolm X, the Black Panthers. Woke were the people who were anti-establishment, against the grain. People who didn't believe the official narratives of the government or the corporate media. I was woke. Okay, technically, you know. Right, if you're anti the CIA, the FBI, the mainstream media, and you're black, you're basically woke, okay? Now, woke has a whole lot to do with diversity and safe spaces and LGBTQRSTUV stuff, the looga booga tugga kamugga, as I like to call them. Has a lot to do with, you know, veganism and climate change, all things that had nothing to do with the original meaning of the word woke. So now, you know, it's, you know, he changed black politics. You have black people who defend the CIA, who side with the FBI now in some instances. I mean, you see what the sort of MSNBC-ification of the black community. You see a lot more black people who just buy what these sort of liberal elite tell them to buy. Whereas when I was a kid, the black community was maybe not uniformly, but had a much more radical voice. Barack Obama was sort of the end of the mainstream radical black voice. And that's sort of why I support somebody like Cornel West, because Cornel West has never let go of his radical black voice. He continues to bring it into the 21st century. He does not care about the post-Obama world. He's not going to support the CIA, the FBI, Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, the prison-industrial complex, and all these other things that the Democratic Party have embraced just because they helped them get elected. But what do y'all think? Let me get this caller here. Hello, caller. What's up?
What's up, Scott? I'm calling back.
Okay, what do you think about the legacy of Barack Obama?
Well, listen, didn't you get some health care? What did you want him to do? Did you want him to come in with a shoe shine box and start shining shoes? He did a lot, man, okay?
Okay.
You know, he wasn't supposed to come in raising nobody's children. He wasn't supposed to come in and giving you no backbone as being a man. He wasn't supposed to come in and start teaching a woman how to fry chicken, like you say. You know, Big Pun cut out at 28 years old.
Yeah,
I guess he must have ate too much fried chicken.
He did.
But listen, man, let me tell you this. Now, you know, when they said it was going to be a wave, and I heard from somebody else that, you know, it's going to be a wave. Listen, man, a wave don't happen until the day that ball drops, okay? And that's when you count that, okay? Now, let me tell you, if Donald Trump gets back in, he's going to swoop in, so he's going to get everybody, like you say, the Latino vote. Okay, now, if he gets back in, he gonna hurt them all up. He gonna swoop down and he gonna send everybody out here, whether you got papers or whether you don't. That's why they hired him as the heavy gun. You understand what I'm saying? Because they ain't got the kahunas to do it themselves, so they hired him to be the hired gun to take them all out of here. Now, let me tell you, there was a saboteur move made to get all these people up here. You know, when you do that, that was a saboteur move. And so that's how they all got here. Now, Kamala Harris, she is qualified. Listen to me. She is qualified. She's more than qualified to run this country. Just like your mother's qualified to run your house, ever how old you are. She's been running that house along with your daddy. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So she's a qualified lady. Now, to say that she's more, you know, unwanted like Kamala, or, having Barack Obama in there like diarrhea. If you want to be a gladiator, you don't come into the arena and say stuff like that.
They're not popular. I'm sorry. Kamala Harris ain't popular. She's not popular. She ain't popular. I'm sorry. She had to drop out. She had to drop out of the primaries because even black people wouldn't vote for her in California. Nobody wants to vote for her.
What?
Sorry, that's just a fact. Sorry.
All Taylor Swift got to do is kiss her on the jaw. Tavis go up there and hug her, and you know what? The old saying go, she's in like
not anymore.
Hey, man, listen,
not anymore.
If you want to be a gladiator,
not anymore.
If you want to be a gladiator, armor up. Don't come in there half stepping. I love you, man. Stay up, buddy.
It's all good. Thanks for your call. Yeah, not anymore. Like the days of just coming in there with LeBron or somebody or Taylor Swift. And again, you see how unpopular Biden is. Biden had the entire media, the entire society, the entire society basically rooting for him. And you see how unpopular he is now. Donald Trump is beating him in many polls. The days of, all black people, especially young black people, who I'm very proud of, who finally woke up and realized that the Democratic Party has been taking us for a ride all this time. Something that apparently Eugene Debs figured out in the 19th century. I wish I'd been listening to him, But yeah, ultimately he changed black politics. He lectured black folks. He loved to lecture us about how we didn't know how to raise our children. Stop feeding your kids fried chicken for breakfast. Telling black men we don't need a lot of gold chains and women to be a man or whatever. I think it's important to talk about Libya. He destroyed the African country with the highest living standard. Brought back chattel slavery to Africa. Now Libya is a complete disaster. And he's admitted that was his biggest mistake as the president. We have to talk about Obamacare, or as it was formerly known as Romney Care, because Mitt Romney did it first in Massachusetts. It was a right-wing plan, which is why the corporations got so rich from it. Ultimately, when I look at Obama, I look at somebody who had so much potential, who had so much going for him and so many opportunities to revolutionize American politics. Everybody wanted it. The whole world wanted it. He got a Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing. He didn't even do anything and they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize just because they thought he will do something. And the man ended up bombing twice as many countries as George W. Bush did. He dropped far more bombs than George W. Bush did. He turned George W. Bush's 2 wars into 7 wars. It's really unfortunate to say that, but that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Like I said, he lectured us a lot on what we need to be doing. Never lectured white people about how they couldn't parent their children. So, of course, things like the drone strikes, Joe Biden's current sort of floundering presidency is very much a legacy of Barack Obama. And more than any one thing, Barack Obama's legacy as president is Donald Trump. People who voted for Barack Obama twice turned around and voted for Donald Trump. That should tell you a lot right there. It's unfortunate to say, but people wanted change. People wanted a revolutionary candidate. They were electing him because he was considered the most liberal man in the Senate, because he was black, because he had a strange Muslim name. Please change our politics, Barack Obama. Change who we are. And instead, he embraced the same sort of centrist, corporate, liberal, Clinton, Democrat policies, and that led us to Donald Trump. It's unfortunate to say, but there is no Donald Trump without Barack Obama. And, you know, people have tried to spin it and say, well, you know, it's because all of the Trump people were racist. Well, were they racist when they voted for Obama? Because that was the difference. People who voted for Obama refused to vote for Hillary Clinton, including white women. You know, white women voted against Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump in 2020 did better with black people and minorities than any president had done since 1960. And it looks like he's going to do even better in 2024 with black people and Hispanics and Asians and Middle Easterners and everybody else. All I say to those people is, you don't have to jump from the frying pan into the fire. There are other ways. Get some political courage. You see right now, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's running as an independent, is actually out. He's actually beating Joe Biden and Donald Trump in some polls. People are saying they are sick of the status quo. And that's what they were saying in 2008. But Barack Obama continued to give us more status quo politics, and that ultimately will be his legacy as the president. Before I get on out of here, folks, I just want to say today is Veterans Day. It is important for us to recognize what we have asked from these people. What we have asked from these people. Because a lot of it is their sanity and their health and well-being. Every 65 minutes, a member of the United States Armed Forces commits suicide. Every 65 minutes. That's about 20 U.S. Armed Forces who commit suicide every day, and over 7,000 per year. Veteran suicides account for 18% of all suicides in America any given year, which is crazy considering only 10% of the population, less than 10%, are veterans. Female suicide rates have risen 85% since the beginning of the war on terror in 2021. So that's female soldiers who come home with PTSD and other ailments. 16% of American soldiers, veterans, are uninsured, almost close to the 20% of the rest of the population. And if that's not bad enough, the U.S. Department of Housing has shown that 40,000 veterans are homeless any given night here in the United States of America. That's just something to think about while we claim that we celebrate our veterans and that we care so much about our veterans here in this country.